There comes a time when people stop believing in their leaders, in their country, in themselves and each other. In a time of great economic crisis and a horrid shadow of depressing events, positive thoughts are hard to come by. They cannot merely be plucked from the air. That is why, as a society, whatever the colour of our skin, whatever our faith, whatever our political beliefs, whatever our backstories, whatever our mother tongue, we must stay strong and get through it together. I hope that many of you understand where I am coming from. As one, we can become a strong, democratic world, full of free speech and free spirit, despite everything that's been going on. I am sure that you have all heard the phrase from the song Knock You Down by Kerry Hilson featuring Neo and Kanye West, just get back up when it knocks you down. That is what we all must do. I've always been brought up knowing that a single person can make a huge change and difference to other people's lives. There are historical figures who have done this, like Winston Churchill. He gave us back our own British strength, which we have kept hidden for so long since the Great Depression in the 1930s. I have also heard that a lot of people can make a little difference, but I don't agree with that. I believe as a society we can all give each other back our own hidden strength. Once again we will get out of a sticky economic crisis that every country around the world has become a part of, and we will become strong again. I can guarantee you that much. A couple of months ago I sent a letter to the British Prime Minister David Cameron via email. He hasn't responded, either because he's too busy or he thinks I'm mad, but most probably because of his schedule, which is a shame because I feel that I could help him to understand. Help him to understand how the people of society really feel, as he isn't listening to anybody else. It appears to me that in times like these no one can keep an open mind. That is where you're wrong, Prime Minister, where you are very wrong. So I have decided to share with you my letter, in order to spread the message that we must change our ways and we must do it soon. And please, whatever you do, don't think I'm mad, just honest. Dear Mr. Prime Minister, my name is Alexa Wardle. I am from Great Britain and I have been living in the south of France for the past 5.5 years, and I am now doing the last year of my international baccalaureate. In October of 2012, I hope to be going to university in the UK. However, the purpose of my letter is not to lecture you about my life. It is to ask you to try and save Britain's economy, and to suggest ideas of how to save the world's economy, which I am sure you have received many a letter about. There are several things that I feel strongly about with regards to the current economic situation that we find ourselves in. The topic of university fees, I feel, is the most biggest problem on my mind. When we watch the news and hear of youngsters not being able to get a job and the percentage of unemployment hits record high, we cannot help but worry about what effect it could have on the rest of us. When a young man or woman steps out into the big wide world, whether to get a job or to go to university or to do an apprenticeship, it is hard to come to terms with the idea of paying off huge sums of debt before trying to put aside hard-earned money for the future, which for many is just around the corner. For university students, as I am sure you are well aware, are outraged at having to pay off almost £30,000, and in an economic climate such as the one we are in, tell us that jobs are hard to come by. We might ponder whether we might be paying it off by the time we settle down and have families. One way I feel that we can solve having to pay for university fees, or any other fees that indeed save the economic climate, is to get as many people as we can to start investing what they can into as many businesses as possible. That way the economy will boom, business will flourish, and people will be happy and more comfortable again. Another prominent topic of interest which is on my mind is that of the pension plan. What outrages me most is seeing elderly people's money become degraded in value. Have you any idea of how much stress families and the elderly are going through? From a personal perspective, my grandparents have been affected badly. Although all but one of my grandparents is nearing 80 years old, my maternal grandfather is 84 years old and suffers from a stroke, and so is my paternal grandmother. The cost of the necessities that they need to survive is shooting through the roof, and no one in the whole of Britain is pleased about this. Whether they have a growing family or whether they are the elderly, it seems that the more money working people put into their pension plan, the less they will get out of it at the end. I'm sure that they would just like to relax in their favourite hotspots within and outside the country. Is this really fair on them? I don't think it is. In fact, I believe so strongly about this, which for even one moment to think about taking a majority of people's hard-working money that may have taken those decades to earn is a ludicrous idea. This is the last place you should even consider taking money from. I, like most caring and loving granddaughters across the country, dread to see the effect on my dear grandparents, so I ask that you change this policy with immediate effect. There is no easy way to put this, but we are turning into a third world country. Other countries that are less developed than us own what used to be our own unique companies. They distinguished us from them. We were once a great, prosperous, strong and wealthy country with a great future ahead of us. Now we are merely surviving through them. We have almost been wiped off the map. Other countries do not think that we have great potential. They do not have faith in us. I, on the other hand, do. I have plenty of faith in Britain, and I believe strongly that we have a great amount of potential. If only we buy back our unique companies that we once used to own. By all means, they can have a share in our businesses in order to allow their countries to flourish like ours, but don't take us off the map, especially in an economic situation. Had I have the power with a team of ministers of Parliament who stood for the people of Britain and did things for the people of Britain, things that the people of Britain had asked the government to do, I strongly believe that our country would be a much brighter and less stressful place for us all. All it takes is for you and your party to lend an ear to the great British public. When you say that you have done what is right, how will you know that you are doing what is right? By lending an ear to the people of Britain, and visit not just businesses and companies, but to see the families who are also taking a hit. Stay truthful to what you are saying, and don't abuse our good nature. In terms of money, by pouring into the economy huge amounts of extra cash is really not the way to go. It will end up bringing us deeper and deeper into the pit of inflation or superinflation, which happened in the late 1920s and early into the 30s. Like now, those times were stressful, and buying bare essentials took wheelbarrows full of money and ripped families apart, and perhaps what was caused the Second World War, something I hope will not be repeated in future years due to this situation. If all appears in vain, Mr. Prime Minister, why not go around Britain and raise some money yourself? Think of it this way: if the people of Britain can give you a couple of pounds, they have a share in the country's future. If they think of it like this, then maybe we'll begin to have a little faith in the country and see that it has potential again. We all know that you need money from somewhere, and you need it fast, and it seems like you have tried every course of action, but not one of them seems to have worked. Perhaps what I'm suggesting might be your breakthrough, but you would have to try it because I don't know what its success rate will be. We need a new direction in which to rebuild Britain and her economy, and therefore build the world's economy. I love Britain as much as you do, and I don't want her to drown in devalued money or without her dignity nor lack of respect. I would love to save her. Legally speaking, if you ever gave me the chance, it would involve creating 2 music albums. But in order for it to be successful, I think it would be good to get some big names involved and arrange for a vocal coach to help us sing. I can't sing very well, but it would be good to have a try at it. I have lyrics for songs and everyone I've shown them to respond with the word awesome. It would be more awesome to make the best out of them instead of just leaving them around. Surely this is not too much to ask for, is it? My plans have never really come to fruition, but if you help me out with this, I promise you I won't let you, the Queen, or the country down. Please, Mr. Prime Minister, I hope that you can take into consideration my suggestions and allow me to save Britain. Yours sincerely, Miss Alexa Wardle. Of course, a message which will never run dry, full of purpose and free spirit, is that which Charlie Chaplin wrote and performed in The Great Dictator. Find hope in yourselves and others, and find a way to help others to get through it. Treat them how you wish to be treated in return. That is how Sir Charles Chaplin would want you to behave. And don't we all owe him that courtesy for all that he did for us? Here it is, if you do not know what I'm talking about. Hope. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We all want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there is room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful. that we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery we need humanity. More than cleverness we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for the universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women and children. Little children. Victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed. The bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourself to brutes. Men who despise you and enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you as cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourself to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only unloved hate, only unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 7th chapter of St. Luke is written, the kingdom of God is within man. Not one man, nor a group of men, but in all men, in you, the people. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. And in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give you the future and old age and security. By the promise of these things, brutes will have risen to power. But they lie. They do not fulfill their promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite. Look up. Look up. The clouds are lifting, the sun is breaking through. We are coming out of the darkness into the light. We are coming into a new world. A kind new world where men will rise above their hate and brutality. The soul of man has been given wings, and at last he is beginning to fly. He is flying into the rainbow, into the light of hope, into the future, that glorious future that belongs to you, to me, and to all of us. Look up. Look up. Thank you.